Okay, what's going on out there, YouTube? This is SCL0320 representing JVS. So, this is gonna be my review for Black Mirror Season 2. I did a, I guess, on the cut live stream review for Season 1. Some of you guys didn't like it, something happened, got distracted. I'm trying not to be distracted on this one. But I'm basically gonna be talking about these very good 4 episodes that they did for Season 2. First episode was Be Right Back with Domino Gleason. Second episode was called White Bear. Third was Waldo moment. And then the fourth, which was probably the best one. I'm in between the first episode and this one being the best of Season 2, A White Christmas, with my man, with the plan from, oh my gosh, he's a lot of different stuff. But, what is his name? Oh my gosh, John-Kamen. Interesting, he wants to actually be Batman right now. Anyway, first episode, you got like this great looking couple and Agent Carter and Man Hux, and you know, they're talking about like, you know, his family, and then he leaves one day, he just does not come back. And the thing about this episode is so psychologically crazy is the fact that she's pregnant, she loses him, she's trying to deal with life, and you have that one friend that gives you really bad advice. Well, this one girl's like, well, you should go and give all your data to this program, they'll make a simulation for him, you can grieve through that, versus trying to really let go the natural way. And the reality for me, for this theme of this episode, is how grief can turn into something, instead of like, all right, I'm gonna move forward, I'm gonna always remember, but I'm gonna move forward. She could not pull away. It was an impossibility for her, because what ended up coming from the simulation was, first it was just audio, then it was visual, and then it was like an actual replica of a shell of her husband that, you know, said all the right things, said everything she needed, if she even had sex with, but it was not his soul, it wasn't him. And at a certain point when she realizes that, like, she goes off the deep end, but it's deeper than that. Like, she isolated herself from everyone. Like, while conversating with him, it was just like she was living in the rift of his memory. And that was so sad, man. Like, it's even sadder the fact that even after she understands that he's not her husband, she can't let go of him to move forward. So she literally kept that thing in the attic, even while her child was probably like 2 or 4 years old. I was just like, this is sad, man. Like, it just shows like where, from a technological standpoint, it's very interesting and innovative to be able to keep a semblance of a person, but when their soul disappears, when they're gone, like, you can't hold on to a photograph just as much as you can't hold on to this thing that looks like them, you know. I thought it was really good. I thought it was a really great episode. White Bear was just a heartbreaker. Like, it was just so emotional, psychological, in the sense that you got this girl wakes up, sees the symbol, and like is running for her life. Everybody around her is just not answering. At first I was thinking like, okay, this episode is about like, you know, this is a post-apocalyptic world, and you know, people are so focused on using the cameras to record everything that they're not even focused on the fact that this girl is running for her life. They're so fixated on that, and they did it so well, because I was like, man, maybe they are mesmerized by what's up there. And she was like, don't look at what, you know, the girl that she ends up finding, and the guy she ends up finding told her, don't look at it or you will get pulled into the rift so much that you won't be able to come back. You'll be just like them. You'll be drones just like them. But the reality of what comes out of it is that supposedly, you know, her husband was a terrorist. She was involved in the kidnapping of this girl. And it's like, part of me doesn't believe it. I think that's the disservice of this episode, in the sense that I was like, was this really true? Was it really that was the situation that actually happened? Or was the fact that, you know, they did have this child and this was their family, this was their home, this girl was happy with them? Or was it like a kidnapping situation? Kind of like the movie that I looked at recently, The Message from the King, with Chadwick Boseman. Some similar situation happened. I was perplexed with that, because I was like, feeling really conflicted whether or not that was true or not. It was well acted. It was just downright depressing, man. Like, it was emotionally depressing because you find out that, you know, this girl's running for her life. She seems like she got this purge kind of situation happening to her, but it's really all a ruse. And so it was emotional, man. It actually was really hard to watch. Next episode was the Waldo moment. I felt for this one too, just because got this guy voice acting as this puppet that he doesn't like. He's manic depressive. He's alone. He's spiraling, but the character is becoming bigger than him. The character is becoming more human and alive and more interested about other people than he is, because nobody sees him. And it's crazy because they use Waldo like they use like a freaking Tickle Me Elmo as this symbol for everything. Like, all right, well, we don't like this social injustice propaganda. We're going to use Waldo to make fun of it. Okay, we don't like this politician that's got this proactive stance on this. Well, we're going to take Waldo and make him look stupid. And it's like the whole entire time I'm just sitting there watching this spiral. And I was like, this kid doesn't want to be in this. He gets connected with this girl, this, you know, trying to kind of make it in the political scene herself. And they befriend each other, sleep together, find love together. But it's like their circumstances just change so quick because the person that's coaching her tells her, don't talk with this guy. And that's exactly what he needs to be able to deal with what's going on. And she instead listens to the guy, shuts him out, and basically out of anger, frustration, passion, and depression, he goes and says something just outlandish on public television, and then it's just a spiral from there because people see it like, oh, wow, you can make people look like a joke and a jerk. And it's like, it's sad because the political scene and the news right now is kind of just like this. Even though this came out in 2013, it's like you realize that, okay, the media, the market will put somebody on a pedestal that goes against every sense of reasoning that you would understand because they're making enough buzz, enough noise, and they're speaking the loudest. Even if they're speaking obnoxious, even if they're speaking like out of character of what it means to do the right thing, it doesn't matter because they're so different. And I was just like, I understand that part of it. I'm not sure why this episode was rated low on IMDb, but it was a really interesting, engulfing episode based on how things are right now. And the way it ends is just sad as I don't know what. I just got done looking at The White Christmas, probably the best episode because it felt like 2 episodes in one because you get the John Hamm situation where he is, you know, basically acting as somebody else's wingman, like literally, and kind of like going through their eyes and connected with this one girl and like everything seems like it was okay. Then you start to understand, man, this is going left real quick. And it's just like what John Hamm does, I was like, yo, what is going on? And then you're trying to figure out why certain things are happening. Like, why is it snowing and they're just trapped there for 5 years together? Are they in some kind of prison? Is this kind of like a future kind of prison? And then you see that John Hamm is just trying to probe this guy and trying to get something out of him, trying to feel as though he's also connected with somebody, talking with somebody. And then what happens is you hear this guy's conversation, like how he's in love and how, you know, this girl, her dad didn't see him as somebody that was worthwhile and she wasn't good enough for him. And then you start to see her kind of just slowly drift from him. And then all of a sudden, like, she's pregnant and then she's drinking and then she blocks him. The thing about this episode is crazy. Is kind of like that episode with my man from the first season where, you know, like you keep a record of everything in your eyes and you can recall it back. Well, this, kind of like how you block somebody on Facebook, like you literally block somebody out of your existence. And what that does to a person, like this person for years did not know, you know, the situation about his child, what happened to this girl, she just left. You know, it's worse than, you know, somebody just like divorcing you and just leaving out of nowhere. Like, he couldn't even see any memories of her, any pictures. He couldn't do anything about it. And it was just like, when he got to finally see who his daughter was, I kind of was like, yo, this can't be, is this really his child? And I was just like caught off. I was cut off, man. Because what this episode did for me was the understanding of this. John Hamm, you know, in his involvement with this guy, tried to probe him of all information for a set reason. But John Hamm was able to communicate with this person, even though he did something really bad himself, right? So he did all of this to try to get out of a situation. And then when you see his end resolve, he might have been better off with this person, because now he's completely blocked off from everyone. Like, that's complete isolation. If I was him, I would go right back into the building. I would say, look, you know what? Let me do 15 years or 20 years, because not being able to see or communicate with anybody, that would drive somebody crazy. That's worse. That's far worse. I mean, he already got to see what happened to, you know, this guy. He already saw what happened with him and his wife. And it's just like, yo, that's worse. Like that, no. That kind of isolation has somebody doing some craziness. Because it's like, imagine you're talking with somebody and, you know, you don't know if they're angry, happy, sad, or whatever to see you. So in your head, like, imagine one day your fuse goes off and you're like, well, I'm going to kill this person. Like, you don't see, you don't hear anything, like, just act out, you know what I'm saying? And, like, you can't tell what's really going on. So it's like, dude, he could become a monster coming out of something like that. Or worse, like, the isolation totally allows him to implode on himself. Nah, man, that's terrible. But this season was dope. I think it might have been a stronger season. I didn't like the situation that happened to White Bear. I felt like they didn't sell me enough that she was at fault with this. I just had to accept it because that's what they said. And then the pure torture and enjoyment of what they did with her, I was just like, first off, what happened to the girl? You know, and then everything else that followed between that. But either way, it was a good season. I felt a good rating, probably 9 out of 10, maybe 9.5. It's really good. It felt like it was better than the first season. I'm not sure what I rated the first season or not, but hopefully y'all enjoyed this review. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Hope y'all having a blessed and happy holidays. I'm gonna be releasing a slew of reviews for you guys very soon. Peace, guys.